BBC Radio Leicester, it's 19 minutes to 6. Now, millions of workers have had a pay rise today thanks to the new national living wage. It sets a new minimum salary of £7.20 an hour for those aged 25 and over. Emily Kenway is the campaign manager for the Living Wage Foundation and wants to see a full living wage introduced, which would be set at £8.25. She says businesses benefit from higher staff wages.
They see that paying more isn't just a cost, it's also an investment. There are lots of business benefits proven from paying the full living wage. So, for example, lower absenteeism, lower costs in training and recruitment because turnover is lower, and higher productivity. So we say that the businesses we work with are really showing leadership and showing smart business thinking.
Well, I'm joined in the studio by Tom Barker, who's from the Leicester Socialist students, and Callum Mackenzie, who is a student at the University of Leicester. And they've had a stall up today in Leicester looking at these changes. Tom and Callum, thanks for joining us this evening. Right. Tom, a huge debate today about whether it's a good thing. Where do you stand on it?
I think the idea of a living wage is a brilliant thing, but the £7.50 is nowhere near a living wage. With the housing market such as it is and the cost of living being so high, it would have to be considerably more than that.
But the aim is to get it to £8.25, isn't it?
Yeah, but what we're campaigning for is £10 now, because we can't really wait for longer for more money. We need more money now. It's a very pressing, urgent.
But how would businesses absorb that cost? Many businesses, particularly in hospitality, in the caring industries, and so on, are saying they're struggling with £7.20. If you said £10, lots of them would go bust.
But I think a lot of those businesses, particularly local businesses, would benefit enormously from this, because money that's given to ordinary working people is money that goes back into the local economy.
But if the business doesn't have £10 an hour, how would that benefit the business? It would go bust, wouldn't it?
Sorry, say it again?
If the business doesn't have the money to pay £10 an hour, either it goes bust, or it reduces people's hours, or it reduces its workforce.
I don't think that's true. A good counterexample to look at would be in Seattle at the moment, where they've won a campaign for $15 an hour living wage for people across the city, and that's spreading like wildfire across the country at the moment. And they haven't suffered any of those problems at all. If anything, those smaller businesses have benefited enormously from it.
Now, Callum, you're a student in the city. You're 20. Yeah. Now, I guess you're thinking, well, whoopee-doo for everybody over 25, because it's not going to affect you.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, like, the amount of money we're paying for our education in the first place. I mean, we've got the accommodation we need to pay for. There's transportation, cost of food, everything like that is a big cost. But then also we've got the problem that once we've left university, it's a very precarious job market, isn't it? So if we're going into jobs and we're not even getting this £7.50, £7.20 that is a new living wage, then what are we meant to do? We're not going to be able to afford to live, really.
Of course, people will say, well, as a student, it might be tough to start out with, but in the end, statistics would show that you will earn above the average across your working career.
Yeah, but in the first place, surely we should be aiming for a wage that works for everyone across ages, just people over 25 getting this wage.
So you'd have it in from the moment you start to work, you get the living wage?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there should be any age differentiation between wages. I mean, if anything, it's undercutting older workers, because then they can just hire younger people for lower wages.
And Callum, I mean, from what you're saying, broadly speaking, you welcome it, but you just want it to be more now. Tom, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, 720 is a start of sorts. At least it's a recognition that there's a problem with the amount that people were paid in this country, and it's because of the immense pressure of working class people that we now have this 720. It was also that pressure that forced the Green Party to say that they were going to have £10 an hour by 2020, and Labour Party somewhat more ambivalently £8 an hour by 2020. Yeah, I think it's a start, but it's just not enough.
Okay, Tom and Callum, thanks for coming in and joining us this evening. Thank you very much indeed. Have a good weekend.